Hello everyone, good morning. Today I am going to discuss about the microprocessor. So microprocessor is basically brain of the computer. We also it called as simply as a processor or CPU. A microprocessor is basically a computer processor that is mounted on a single IC that is called as an integrated circuit. It means that all the function of the processor include in a single chip. In 1971, Intel introduced the first commercial microprocessor, which was Intel 404. Then the basic task of microprocessor is to input the instruction from memory and decode it and process them and produce the output. It performs the three basic tasks while processing of the information. So there are as follows: performing the sum basic calculation using ALU, for example, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication and division, etc. Then moving the data from one location to another location. Then it has a program counter that is called as an PC, which is a pointer that stores the address of next instruction. It keeps the track of program counter and performs the instruction accordingly. Then we have discussed about the history of the microprocessor. So content, that is called as an history. Introduction: 4-bit microprocessor, 8-bit microprocessor, 16-bit, 32-bit and 64-bit. Introduction: in Fairchild Semiconductor, it founded in 1957. It invented in the first IC in 1959. In 1968, Robert Noyce and Gordon Moore and Andrew Grove resigned and formed the Fairchild Semiconductor. They have founded their own company that is called as an Intel Integrated Electronics. Intel grown from 3-man startup in 1968. Then to move on to a 4-bit microprocessor, so that is called as an Intel 4004. It introduced in 1971, so it is the first microprocessor by an Intel. It was a 4-bit microprocessor. Its clock speed was 740 kHz, and also it had the 2300 transistor, and it could execute around the 60,000 instructions per second. Next IC is an Intel 4040. It introduced in 1974. It was also a 4-bit microprocessor. So next it will be move on to an 8-bit microprocessor. So 8-bit microprocessor, the first version is Intel 8008. It was introduced in 1972. It was the first 8-bit microprocessor. Its clock speed was 500 kHz. It could execute the 50,000 instructions per second. So next IC is Intel 8080. So it introduced in 1974. It was also an 8-bit microprocessor. Its clock speed was 2 MHz. It has 6,000 transistor. Then it was 10 times faster than 8008 compared to the 8080. It could execute the 5 lakhs instruction per second. So next is the main microprocessor. We are all known with that Intel 8085. So it introduced in 1976. It was 8-bit microprocessor. The clock speed was 3 MHz. The data bus is an 8-bit and address bit length is 16-bit. So it had the 6500 transistor. It could execute the 7,69,230 instructions per second. Then it could access the 64 kilobytes of memory. Then the instructions, it will be forward at 246 instructions. So next will be move on to a 16-bit microprocessor. The first device for 16-bit microprocessor is Intel 8086. It was introduced in 1978. It was the first 16-bit microprocessor, and the clock speed is 4.77 MHz and 8 MHz, 10 MHz, etc. Depending on the versions, it can be used for the different applications. Then data bit length, it will be an 16-bit, and address bit it will be 20-bit. So it had the 29,000 transistor. It could execute the 2.5 million instructions per second. It could access the 1 megabytes of memory. Then next it will be an 8088. Then another version is Intel 80186. So it was introduced in 1982 in 16-bit. Clock speed was 6 MHz. Then Intel 80286. Then we move on to a 32-bit microprocessor. The first 32-bit microprocessor is Intel 80386. It was the first 32-bit. The database it will be in 32, and address also it is in 32-bit. The memory, it can be accessed 4 gigabytes of the memory. Then next version will be an Intel 80486. Then another version move on to an Pentium version. So it introduced in 1993, 32-bit microprocessor. It was originally named as 80586. The clock speed was 66 megahertz. Then Intel Pentium Pro introduced in 1995. Then Intel Pentium 2, then Intel Pentium 2 Xeon, then Intel Pentium 3, then Intel Pentium 4, then dual core introduced in 2006. It has a 2 core, that is called as a dual core. So dual core diagram. Then move on to a 64-bit microprocessor. The first version is 2006, that is called as an Intel Core 2 Duo. Then Intel Core i7, then Intel Core i5 introduced in 2009, 64-bit microprocessor. Intel Core i3. Then so these are the some of the versions it can be followed in the microprocessor. Thank you.